Today is the Jinxie day. Yesterday I thought I was seeing fake news, cap, deep fakes, AI. Wasn't true. I saw a photo and I was like, oh, it's a femboy photo. Like, first I was like, dang, real. Somebody look at him, and then I started looking at key things like the ear shape, the creases in his face, his head. But I was like, that's him. It's in better shape. So I'm like, oh man, it looks like he was like part of a bet doing some femboy stuff, man. You know, I see how Jinxie acts, and him putting on them little shorts for Becky Hill, whatever her name was, and all that. We done seen her do such stuff. So I was like, oh, it's another sus day. Like, he sent this to the group chat being funny, or the group chat had a bed, or like something like that. And then I was on Twitter and they were like, yeah, this is him. Nah, he with a dude. I'm like, bro, y'all are capping. Like, no way. I see it. And it was an accident. I was just looking up. I literally just typed in sketch. I was not looking for the leaks or nothing. I was trying to see like what people were recently saying. And that, I don't know the name of that page. Rap Drama Alert. Somebody, I don't know, posted about it and I saw it. And it's him with multiple different dudes.
So out come the Steelers now for their first drive. And a look here at their signal caller, the fifth-year quarterback.
And what a first half of the season he's had, leading the NFL passing yards to this point. It's been a tough man to slow down. So this defense certainly has its work cut out.
Then I saw the apology, and first you can see he's kind of hurt because he's joking about it. Like, oh, this isn't me. Nah, it's me, and I'll admit it. But I didn't know about the videos until people said it was him with a man. So I started watching the video. And that right there is kind of like, wow. It's like, this is real. I've been watching sketches for a very long time. When he was at a very low follower on his subscriber count, when he was on live stream sitting in his room playing video games, that was when I was watching sketch, playing Madden, and I always wanted to play him. I was like, I'm like, bro, this dude's trash, bro. Like, I gotta beat him. And
really playing at a high level, 7-0, and we're still a long ways from discussing a potential unbeaten season. I think.
I always wanted to play him.
No blemishes on the card, at least to this point.
Yeah, like my teenage years.
Yeah, I wanted to play him. And to see the uprising of him, Jinxie, a lot of these streamers is nice, but then you always know there's a fall coming with it. Like, Jinxie dealing with issues with Jack Daughtry, AMP with Bruce, and Bruce is a lame. I never really liked him. Thought he was corny. I didn't think he had any other talents. Still is to this day. I mean, you hopped on stream and said, yeah, we not listening to him, he trash. And you told somebody not to make a song with someone because you like their music. You don't want them to make songs with him because his music is bad. What? His music isn't bad, bro. DG music is actually relatively good compared to some of these underground artists and some of the best artists out there. Because there's some artists out there, no DE, I feel like are not even all that. And but to see Bruce hating like that, that's when I kind of figured out, okay, this internet scene is really like weird. Like they don't like people to be winning in here. Like nobody's rooting for each other. It's like everybody versus each other. I mean, the only time you see people rooting for each other is AMP, and that's literally because they live in the same house and they've been friends for a very long time. So when I seen Kai Cenat join AMP, I was watching AMP before Kai joined, and then when Kai joined, it was kind of like, I don't know about how I feel about Kai being on AMP, but I was like, okay, I mean, I guess. I was just a guy who turned it on occasion. And you see the increase, you see the value, and you see the run. I'm not really a big Kai fan, right? I never really go on the stream and watch. But he's a very talented, I mean, he's obviously talented enough to get a lot of people in his circle. Some people find him relatively funny. I do think that there's some people in the circle that might be a little funnier, right? But that ain't really what it's about. So to see how Sketch reacted to the exposure, first thing he said was like, yeah, it's me, and it was 2 years ago and I was dealing with an addiction. First off, addiction isn't an excuse at all. When people admit to addiction, they're not giving an excuse. They're giving you the truth. They're giving you a reason. They're giving you something to lean on more evidentially, because addiction is a really serious thing. I mean, we're in a generation where addiction is the consistency. Addiction is praise. Dudes that are like 19 talking about how they take mollies and perks and they do cocaine and they drink lean, and it's like, bro, you're 19. We're the same age, bro. Like, you're like, for what? I mean, I get people smoke weed. I get people going to get drunk. I get people going, but so when we're talking about addiction, obviously an addiction with pornography, an addiction to some other secular activities and activities that weren't necessarily appropriate. He also had an addiction for sex work. Because it's exactly what OnlyFans is. OnlyFans is sex work. And the spirit of perversion is what is controlling our generation entirely. Is the sense of the spirit of perversion is the main reason and controller of our generation. And it's embarrassing because it's like, perversion is nothing that hasn't existed before. Perversion has been a thing. It's in the Bible. It's in our history books. They even tried to base the They even tried to base the reasonings for.
So that time they got the left guard.
Martin Luther King. To his reasons for wanting whites and blacks to be equal about an affair he was having. You know, I don't listen to the truth. But when we think about the spirit of perversion, covers cheaters, because it covers the adultery, porn. It covers a lot of the secular realm that is praised. It's a weird feeling knowing that they've made websites where you can quite literally digitally pay to watch someone have sex or indulge in sexual activities. So that's a demon that he was fighting. And I previously was watching an interview with him and Theo Von, a clip of one, where he said he thanks God. He prayed to God and he prayed that he would be successful and that he would be happy. And God answered his prayer. But you know that the prayer was more in depth. You know that prayer was more in depth. If anyone has ever prayed in their lives, they would know that prayer was far more in depth than he made it seem. Now you don't even have to be spiritual to know that prayer is important. And to see him say that his plan, if this ever were to get exposed, was to give up and not be here anymore, that there was a low chance of him even hopping on stream because he had no plans of being here today, was it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking because you go from like, I was just watching you, to people don't realize like these are the reasons that we lose so many great people, so many famous people, so many great people in our lives due to suicide and unhappiness and anger. It's because there's people out there that want to see you fall or want to have a laugh. And people don't realize a lot of the laughs that we have in this life are at the expense of others. And I would never laugh at the expense of someone's happiness or success or ability to be great. Because I do understand that it is a very
so difficult to cover a fade route, and you're talking about into the end zone, and sometimes you panic a little as a defender. The offensive guys are really smart. Sometimes
when you consider that the person has a good heart, good soul, and a good mind. So saying that is heartbreaking, but
the Steelers go nearly the length of the field and finish it off with 6 points. One of the keys to their long winning streak has been scoring first tonight.
yeah, in regard to the sketch situation, I feel bad. But I feel for Sketch, man. I don't think anybody should have to deal with what he's dealing with right now. But to think that, like, for me, when I hear, I ain't gonna lie, when I was younger, a few years ago, I made some comments about somebody who made a horrible mistake in their lives. Not similar, but of the same kind of range. And when you consider what happened here, with the individual sent something with intention to send it to someone and sent to someone else, and it got exposed. And me and that individual got in an argument. We wanted to go back and forth, and I sat and I told him, I made fun of him for it, but then I told the individual that they weren't man enough to, I'm not even gonna say it, but you weren't man enough to do what you said you wanted to do because you were scared, and you should have did it. So I told that person, and I've gone through hell since then. You know, not just because of that, but I've said a lot of things to people that I've gone through hell for, and I realized there's a level of importance. Like recently, I was just arguing with somebody. I was an argument that started in a similar range of sorts, and I had it in my heart to say one thing, but I had it in my mind to say one thing, but in my heart, my body, my pause, my mouth wouldn't let me say it. And I'm glad it didn't, because then I would be facing the consequences later on in my life. I do believe karma is a real thing, and I do believe that, you know, respect is reciprocal. So any type of the respect that you give somebody, whether it's disrespect or good respect, can come back to you just as well as you put it out. So when I heard that, I've become a little more sensitive to the topic of taking your own life, suicide, and things like that, because I've been around people that have really talked to me about their intentions to do it, and I might joke about it here and there, but you don't realize how important it is to care about somebody until they throw all their cards on the table and you see why they lose, or you see why they can't win and why life's so hard for them. If I put all my cards face down on the table right now, people would stand and understand exactly why I'm at this point I'm at in my life. But I can't afford to put all my cards on the table right now, because if I put all my cards on the table right now, I'm facing a far major loss than I would if I weren't to put my cards on the table. And I'm glad that I have a lot of spiritual and I have what I consider spiritual integrity. I feel like my spirit, I'm happy with where I am mentally, because I know that I could be somewhere far off or far worse, or be in a deeper or darker spot than I am right now. So when I hear stuff like that on social media coming from people I feel are relatively bright and their outlook on life, it's disappointing and it's depressing, and it's not a fun look. And it hurts people that have any ounce of empathy in their heart, because I become more empathetic towards people since then. Cause I face a lot of issues in my life where I felt the same almost. I felt like, yeah, if it ain't working out, or this happens to me, I'm gonna react the same. So, you know, sometimes you reach that hole in your life where you're just kind of like, yeah, if I can get out of this, I'm done with life. And me personally, I've never had no thoughts of that kind. But you think about it, it's just like, what's the point? And I mean, what's the point of me even trying to live this life? I should just live like I don't care no more. You know what I mean? I've reached that point at some points in time mentally. But at the same time, I'm mentally strong and I have enough spiritual integrity to get past that point in my life. So it didn't last for long. It didn't last more than 10-15 minutes. You know, I go to sleep every night contemplating about whether I'm gonna go to heaven if I die. I really do. And I try to move better and I try to live better in life. But ultimately, we're controlled by the things of our surroundings, and then, you know, our surroundings also have a substantial effect on our mindsets. So if I woke up tomorrow and I said, I'm gonna do something illegal, I'm gonna commit a crime, and I want to hurt somebody today, and I want to make them deal with it for the rest of their lives, I very well could do it. I have technically all the physical right to do it, not the legal right. And you know, whether I react in that way, shape, or form or not, can frame how I'm viewed and can frame me as a person. So I just been trying to be better as a person since that event. I mean, like I said, I did have a previous run-in where I felt I could or should have said or reacted in a certain way about something, and I spoke on I definitely said something that was hurtful to the individual, but I had something more hurtful in mind, and I'm glad I stuck with what I said and not what I wanted to say, because I know if I said what I wanted to say, I could have hurt this person far more than they probably could handle.
Pass protection has been a problem all night long as they come up facing second and a bundle. Middle of the field, it's Robinson. So
I ain't saying, oh, I'm gonna beat down. I could have easily talked trash to them. I could have easily downplayed them, man, their situation, but the reality is, I could have definitely said some things and hurt some feelings, but I didn't do it. So to see how people are talking about Sketch on the internet, it's disappointing because Sketch, everybody who's responded and spoke about it have said Sketch is a good guy and that they care about Sketch. And to see Sketch in this predicament it's disappointing. It's kind of heartbreaking because when we hear somebody talk about they want to take their own life because a mistake they made, it's kind of sad. And unfortunately, like I said, I used to be a person that would, you tried to because you did something. That's your fault. And I used to be like that, you know. I realized that ain't the way to be, because like I said, when somebody puts all their cards on the table, you get to see why they're losing in life and why they can't win and why success isn't in their favor. And then you then have that choice in life to either try and help that individual or be the reason that this person refuses to get past that point in their life. So when I see how people are talking about Sketch on the internet, make it laugh, like the dude cuffing him, like Bruce and all them dudes, it's embarrassing, because as a man, you sat there and you downplayed this person's individual. You didn't let them speak up. You didn't let them say anything. And I get, like, okay, first judgment. You know, though, you know, people are going to judge immediately. They don't want an explanation, especially with situations and scenarios like this. They ain't looking for an explanation. They are going to respond how they respond. And the fact that people were in support of Sketch in regards to the information that they received on the first thing, rather than being like, oh, nah, I ain't let my little brother watch the sex worker no more. Bro, I'm sorry if it ain't obvious. These are pretty old videos. I didn't jump to no conclusions because I was like, the videos look old. They looked old. They look like the old Sketch I was seeing on streams and stuff. And so I was like, yeah, this could be Photoshop. It probably is Photoshop. It's probably not real. You know, when somebody comes out and explains their side of the story, kind of like, wow. And I only saw the first minute of his message, and I was kind of like, there's something more to it. So I went and found a full message, and it was heartbreaking and felt bad, man. Like I said, nobody deserves that form of hate thrown towards him. Because, like, to hear him say he was dealing with an addiction and it was 2 years ago and he's gotten past that point in his life, but to hear him break down and cry and see the other things on social media in regards to his mental health and things like that, it's just it's really disappointing that people could treat him in the way they've been treating him without a proper without them properly addressing the scenario at hand. That's just not fair. And I don't care how people feel that level of, like, it's kind of like a how dare you, you know? Who are you to speak on anyone's past is my mindset. Cause, like, I like how the person that's speaking on this has had a lot of negative surrounding them. It has a lot to say. And don't have a lot to show for what they're winning in life. Bruce is obviously jealous of the dude. He met NFL stars. He's known the NFL. He was at the NFL draft, one of the biggest sports in the world. It's a lot of famous people that got his number. A lot of famous people who watch him. A lot of people who support him. So I doubt that those same famous people are going to tend to cover now, because you know it's not a good look for them. But it's also like when people are past that point in their life where they can mature past the things that they see or hear about a person. That's how you know those people. He said people only hanging with him for branding. Yeah, he did sex work for branding. Yeah, you're hanging with a sex worker for branding. He clearly, I mean, it was a relatively incorrect statement. Whether people want to accept it or not, his statement is incorrect. He's not a sex worker. He is a streamer. In his previous, you know, lifestyle that he was living, the argument is very, very reasonable. But I mean, if you just have a brain, it's clear and obvious these are not recent videos and photos. I mean, where does he have the time to grow out his hair and then go make a video like that? I mean, you can see there's some, like, I hate to say it, in a lot of photos I saw, there's no headphone bump. You know what I mean? So it's like, this isn't the Jinxie we know. Yeah, I mean. And I like that there's this guy on Twitter who posted something really positive about it. He said, instead of y'all focusing on all this negative stuff, here's a positive clip of the things that Jinxie has done for people. Things that people have experienced, the experiences that people have had with Jinxie and things like that. And I really like that somebody can go on the app and shed light on the values of this person rather than the past. There's too many people with a rough past in this world, and in this world that are successful. It's too much negative about people's past, not enough positive. Yeah, but this guy's saying, I feel bad. I'm more disappointed on the people in the internet than I am in him. I ain't friends with him. But who am I to cast judgment? I'm saying done some horrible things to people, and you know, I'm extremely glad that a lot of that ain't even accessible. Because if I went out against me, if I got to a successful point in my life, how can I explain myself? At any point in life, you can't explain that unless it's an apology that comes along with it. I threw it to you, expecting you to go further than I would have. And you went about just as far as I would have went.
He was out there waving his arms. When you got a quarterback out of the pocket looking for any help, I guess waving the arms is helpful.
It certainly is, because you got to get his attention, because now you're in scramble drill. So everyone's adjusting their routes, finding open space, and he found the right spot for the completion.
And this throw incomplete.
I need them to run quicker on those cuts, man.
Time, but it's going to lead to third down. Looking to throw. Flood. A 5-yard loss there is going to bring up fourth down.
And nowhere to go. Could have ran a better play, but it's at the same time. Y'all couldn't protect me for, what, the half a second I got? So, you know, I hope Jinxie is doing well. I pray for him any time of the day, because any and everybody can take a prayer. And, I think the position he is in is completely unfair to the point of success that he's reached. The fact that a lot of people are no longer going to support him and look back at this time as a point in his career is disappointing. It's not encouraging at all for anybody.
Back to throw. Flood. Flush to his right. And he's able to get this one out.
To know that his brand deals could be limited to this, to know that he possibly can lose followers for this, to know that he possibly could lose some really good work for this. How can any man or woman sleep with the idea that you ruin somebody's life for a laugh? Maybe because you're jealous.
Here's first down. Now this is going to be a quarterback draw. Steelers use the first of their 3 timeouts.
I don't know why I ran a quarterback draw at this point in time in the game.
Second down here. From the shotgun, he'll look to throw. Harris has it over the middle. And he's going to have another first down as the tackle's made at the Titans 35. And now with 4 seconds left, we get a timeout call. Charles, he's now over 400 yards passing in this one. It feels like he has a zillion completions. Just a very memorable effort from a guy that we thought could be in line for a big game, and he has exceeded our expectation.
That he has, and I'm not really surprised at all because when you look at this offensive unit, they are loaded across.
Just got a heck of a show, partner. This was a close game for a long time. Close at half, close down the stretch. Home team finds a way to get it done. A narrow victory.
Yeah, they finished with a flourish, didn't they? Because there were times where each side looked like they were the better team out there. And the outcome was in doubt for much of this game. Every snap seemingly more important than the previous one.
Team on my back. But, you know,
but in the end, how about those guys
I just pretty success, man.